first take the cover off the cap, pull out the spark plug wire, and then we're going to take the valve cover off. Have a pan ready because you're going to have a little oil drip. And always a good cup of joe. Alright. So what we need to do is we need to get the engine to top dead center, and we can either put the bike in 5th gear and bump the wheel, or we can take off the alternator cover and take a 17mm socket to the pulley and crank it around. Either way, what we're doing is on the other side, we're going to take out the, there's a little plug, it's about over in this area on the other side, and it's a little viewport, and you're going to look in there to see the indication for top dead center. So, first we'll take the alternator cover off. Alright, to get that cover off, we're taking off the 2 bolts that hold on this little fairing wing attachment area thing, and that is the actual name BMW gives it. Pain in the ass. Fuck. Alright, so we can slide that out of the way, and this cord hanging is from my fog light, so don't question why you don't have that on yours. Now we can get the alternator cover out of the way, and that is going to expose the bolt we're going to turn right there to crank the engine over. Alright, now I'm setting the engine so that it's at top dead center. One thing you can do, just as a visual verification, a nice clean extension. You can put that all the way in, holding it, take your 17mm on your bolt, crank the engine around, just very lightly. You're going to see it come out to about its fullest extension. At that point, go around to the other side and check to see if you've got the OT mark. And that's just going to be just a very easy visualization to see that you're getting close to lined up. We can see that the rockers are loose, so I know we're just about there. Move the camera. Alright, so here's the other side. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is our inspection hole with our top dead center mark shown on there, the OT. So we are at the point where we can now adjust the valves. Okay, over to the right cylinder now, and when I took the valve cover off, this rubber cup did not come off. And I really want to pay attention to that because it was still in here. And you want to make sure you're pulling that out because it's going to go on here, and you're going to want to put it on here. Here, sorry. So it goes on the valve cover. And you're going to want to make sure it's on there when you're reinstalling it and not leaving it on there and trying to push this in. So, make sure you're pulling that out. If it is in there. Sometimes it'll come out with the valve cover, sometimes not. Now we can't just dive into this side with the engine set at OT because it is opposite where we need it to be for here. It's set at OT fine for the other side, but now we need to rotate it around, come back to it so that these valves close and we can adjust these. So we're going to rotate the engine again using our 17mm on the pulley here. If we can find the damn pulley. Off. Remember, you're turning clockwise. Okay, so now it's closing. I could use the extension that I used before, but it's on the other side of the bike, and I'm just not walking over there. Okay, so now it's freeing up. Now we're at Z. Yeah. If you're spinning it around and watching it, you're going to run across a Z first. And right after that, that's when you're slowing down, because right after that is when you're going to get to the OT. And we are right there. These should be loose. And they are. And this is the first time you're doing it. You're not talking about like a massive wiggle here. Loose, defined with the engine, is enough where you can hear very little. It's almost like looking for oil to just kind of squirt out if you're moving it. Alright, so now we got our fuel gauges. You can buy a set from like Beamer Boneyard or Max BMW that already have the color coding on there, or you can get your regular set, tear them apart, or two sets, tear them apart and put a piece of color tape on them. Just makes it easier to remember. That's all they're doing. So we've got 0.3 on the exhaust. That's tight, and that's pretty good. Maybe a little loose. And a 0.15 on the intake. And this one is probably maybe a little loose. And this one's really pretty good. So we've got our 3mm Allen or our 10mm wrench, and we can, oh, that's really tight. Let's deal with that first. Ooh, that's pretty good. Those are pretty good, alright. Remember, counter torque on your Allen when you're tightening with the wrench to make sure you're not over tightening then. Yeah, okay, so where were we here? This one is a little, a wee bit loose. Sometimes it's a little awkward. Try it this way. Maybe a hair tight. That's pretty good there. That's pretty good there. Alrighty, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Final check. Nice! Alrighty.